It's the end of the 2023 Super Rugby Pacific season for the Fijian Drua, who sailed through rough season Christchurch as they were outdone 49-8 by the Crusaders in the quarterfinals on Saturday night. Despite the result, and Drua fans who travelled far and wide were ecstatic to be at the game. Caleb Fotheringham was at the match.
If it wasn't 8 degrees, you would have thought the game was being played in Suva. Visiting Fijian supporters were naturally outnumbered, but when it came to cheering, one Drua fan seemed to account for 3 of Crusaders. Most obvious was when Drua's only try of the match was scored by Celestino Rabu Tumanda after intercepting a pass from Will Jordan. Veronica Naiwanga, who flew from Fiji to watch the game, says she loved it despite the loss.
Whatever the outcome, it's always worth it. We're behind the boys, whether they win or lose, we're behind them.
Right from the first whistle, the visitors started badly when their kickoff failed to make the 10-metre mark. About a minute later, the first try of the match was scored by Crusaders' tight head prop, Oliver Jaeger, followed by a successful conversion by Richie Mwanga. The points continued to flow, and in under 15 minutes the score was 21-0, thanks to 2 tries by Cody Taylor. Post-match, the hooker acknowledged the edge the early points gave his team.
It allowed us to build some momentum and keep the pressure on. You know what the Drua can do when they get their heads up.
A sentiment shared by Crusaders coach Scott Robertson.
The start created the opportunities for us to put it away early. If they got up and got excited and got those offloads going and quick taps game that they can do, it could have been a long night.
The 11-time Super Rugby champions continued their rampage into the second half, but it didn't matter to Drua fans who were left with nothing but pride for their team. Jopetu Drao says in Fiji he grew up tracking down the closest home playing Super Rugby. Now he can't believe his country has their own team.
For us to be able to see one of our own playing, it's unbelievable. So, you can't, the scale of imagining that you'd have one team in the Super Rugby, you can't just imagine that, because you've been seeing, New Zealand and Australia and South Africa play, but, Fiji, who would have believed that would have ever happened?
Long-time Crusaders fan Wesley Selele from Fiji has been living in Christchurch for nearly 20 years and switched his alliance before the game.
I've always been a staunch supporter of the Crusaders ever since I've come to live in Christchurch. I love Christchurch and everything, but today I've switched sides just for this game. I like to go for the underdogs, see how they go.
The supporters cannot wait for next year.
It's first quarter-final for the Drua. Hats off to them, but probably they'll come back next year and prove the Crusaders wrong, I think.
The Crusaders will now take on the Blues in a semi-final home game matchup on Friday.